girls. It's Easter. Aren't you excited? It's such an exciting time of the year. There are many reasons to be excited about Easter. You know, the most important reason to celebrate today is that Jesus rose from the dead on Easter morning. Now, there are other reasons that people celebrate. You know, that little tradition about an Easter basket. Well, you know, all kids love to get an Easter basket on Easter Sunday. So they get up, just imagine with me, you're going to get up, you're going to run in the kitchen, you're going to find a big, beautiful Easter basket on the kitchen table, and you're going to run to the Easter basket and you're going to grab it, and it's full of plastic green grass. Yep, that's right. It's full of plastic green grass. Wow, what a bummer when you realize you were expecting chocolate and other kinds of candy, all the plastic eggs, all the M&Ms and I forgot what kinds of candy there is in Easter baskets. Well, I bet there's some Twix and maybe some Kit Kats and maybe some Skittles. Oh yeah, my kids love Skittles. Maybe some Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, kids love that stuff. But there wasn't any. What if there's none in your basket? There is a piece missing to your Easter basket. That's right. And I know that every one of you would sit down and say, thanks, Mom and Dad, I really wanted that basket of grass. No, you wouldn't. You'd say, where is my candy? That's right. Where is my missing piece? So today, we're going to talk about a different kind of missing piece. It's not a missing piece to your Easter basket. It's much more important than that. It's a missing piece in our lives, in our hearts. And we're going to find out just what that is. But first, I want you to check out this video.
Hey everyone, I am so excited. I'm getting ready to go on a trip for Easter weekend. I think I've got everything ready to go, so here I go. What? Oh my goodness, how did this happen? Oh, that's what it is. My suitcase is missing a zipper. What good is a suitcase if it's got a missing piece? And not just any missing piece, it's missing the most important piece, the zipper. Without it, all my clothes just go everywhere. Can you imagine trying to work on a project at your desk while sitting in a chair with a missing piece? The legs? Or imagine trying to pour yourself a refreshing bowl of cereal without a bowl. Or imagine you're playing basketball with your friend, but there's a missing piece, the air in the ball. It can be really frustrating when you realize that there's a missing piece. But you know, the world is full of people who are walking around with a piece missing from their lives. And it's not just any piece, it's the most important piece, Jesus. Jesus is the reason we celebrate Easter. He died on the cross and rose again so that he could fill that missing piece in the life of every human being. You're going to learn all about that in your lesson today. Well, I have got quite the mess here to clean up and a suitcase to fix. I better get on it because I don't want to be late for my trip. But I want to wish all of you a very happy Easter, and I want to remind you that Jesus is the most important piece.
Wacky Wally, superhero in training. Hey, Wacky
Anything wrong? I need to go collect.
We're just
Huh?
we're just having church here with these wonderful kids.
You are.
We are, Wally.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about the missing piece in our lives today.
Okay.
We have a hole in our heart. A missing piece.
Oh, I know what that is.
What? What is it?
It's applesauce. Applesauce is maybe because it's kind of like between a liquid and a solid. Plus, man, it smells great.
The hole is applesauce?
That's what fills the hole.
Oh, that's what fills the hole.
Yes.
Applesauce.
You got it.
Wally, please, don't be telling the kids that they need to fill the hole in their life with applesauce.
Oh, I did nothing of the sort.
Are you sure?
I am sure I did.
All right, I just wanted to clarify because I wouldn't want all the kids out there to be running out and buying up all the applesauce because you know what? I like to have some every now and then as a snack.
Hold there, citizen. I'm gonna call the authorities and take you in.
Wally,
Yes.
That's your fingers.
Yes.
Wally, that's not a phone.
Hello? I'm sorry.
Wally,
I'm sorry. Bother you today?
Wally, that is your fingers, not a phone.
It is not. I got my speed dialing numbers wrong, and I got the pizza place.
Did you order a pizza?
No, I didn't order a pizza.
Oh,
I was trying to call the authorities.
Okay, Wally, now, I can assure you that there is no reason for you to call the police on us now. I am just having church with these wonderful kids. They are amazing. You should get to know them.
Okay.
Okay.
But you know,
All right.
got my eyes on you.
Okay, Wally, that's fine. That's fine. That's good. Okay, now, we should get back to our service now, if that's okay with you?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Wait,
All right.
before we do it,
Yeah?
hold on, everybody. Stick your hands in the air. Go and stick them way up there.
right, kids,
Get
everybody
off
put-
the couch
put
and
your
get your hands in the air.
Hands in the air.
Stop doing that to your sister and put your hands in the air.
Okay, Wally, we've all got our hands.
Huh?
We've got our hands in the air.
Okay.
You ready?
I was just checking to see if anybody had applesauce fingers.
Is that what you're doing, Wally?
Yes, but they're all clear.
Oh, my
They're all
goodness.
clear. We're good to
Wally.
go. We're good. You can put them down now. You can put them down.
Okay, that is so crazy. Wally, could I ask you a question?
Why, yes, fair citizen.
I can?
Yes, you may.
All right. Do you know what can fill the hole in our hearts?
The missing piece?
What?
Fills the missing piece?
Yes, what is the missing piece?
Of course I know.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Jesus. Jesus is what
Wally!
fills the missing piece in our hearts.
I'm so excited.
Every superhero knows the answer to that.
I can't believe you got that. But Wally, you know what? You are now my most favorite superhero in the whole wide world because you knew that.
Well, I thank you, fair citizen, but I must be on the way. Because I must be out in the city. I must be trying to find those evildoers and get them put away. So it's Wacky Wally, away!
Well,
Where do I get out? Where do I get out?
Wally, the door's over there.
Oh.
Bye. Bye.
Oh!
Bye, Wally.
Oh!
Okay. I hope he's all right. Wow. Did you see those things that were missing parts? They weren't worth anything with the missing parts. They couldn't even fulfill what they were made for. Well, you know what? Jesus is the most important part of our lives. And you know what? He should really be the centerpiece of our life. We're going to learn all about that in your lesson today. But right now, I want you to meet my new friend, Boudreaux, and he's going to tell you everything about what you got to know.
What you gotta know, what you gotta know. Time for Boudreaux, what you gotta know. What you gotta know, what you gotta know. Time for Boudreaux, what you gotta know.
Hey there, kids. My name is Boudreaux. That's pronounced Boudreaux. And I'm here to tell you what you gotta know. First off, let me tell you a little something about myself. My name is Boudreaux, and I'm a Cajun from the Bayou. That's down there in Louisiana. I like to do all sorts of Cajun stuff. You know, I like to go gator wrestling, I like to go frog gigging, I like to do my favorite pastime, possum punching. But today, I'm here to teach you what you gotta know. Today, we're talking about how Jesus is the missing piece in our lives. So every time today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them this: Jesus is the missing piece. Life is kind of like a big old puzzle. Matter of fact, I'm working on a puzzle right now. It's got so many pieces, it's gonna take me weeks. You ever try to put a puzzle together out on a swamp on a raft? I mean, those puzzle pieces keep falling in the water, and when they come out, they're as soggy as a nacho stuck in cheese dip for over 3 weeks. Sometimes we're trying to put together all the puzzle pieces of life. You know, like family and friends and goals and schoolwork, all that good stuff. Well, it's so hard to do, it just keeps falling apart. Well, that's because we forget to put the most important piece of all right in the center. And that's Jesus, and he holds the whole puzzle together. So every time today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them this: Jesus is the missing piece. And that right there is what you gotta know. Well, I'm Boudreaux from the Bayou, saying bye-bye you.
Boys and girls, it's time for our Bible story this morning. Now, our Bible story is going to come from the Gospels in the New Testament. Do you know what books those are? That's right. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Jesus began his ministry on earth at the age of 30, and he spent 3 years preaching God's love to the world and performing miracles. Jesus' 12 disciples knew that he had promised to set up God's kingdom on earth, and he was going to be the ruler of the world. They just knew it. Jesus was a major part of their lives. One day, something terrible happened. Jesus was arrested, he was beaten, and he was sentenced to death. He was sentenced to death on the cross. Now, his feet and hands were nailed to the cross, and the soldiers laughed at him and made fun of him. The disciples, they couldn't believe it. They had expected Jesus to fight back and defeat his enemies. But Jesus, he didn't fight back. Instead, he prayed for God to forgive the people who were hurting him. Sadly, Jesus died on the cross that day. The disciples, they were so sad. The most important piece of their lives, Jesus, was missing. How could this be happening? Jesus had promised to set up his kingdom, but now he was dead. The disciples surely began to lose hope. They thought that God's plan had failed. They expected Jesus to save himself, but that didn't happen. Jesus' body was placed in a tomb, and a large stone was rolled over the entrance. But guys, I've got good news. 3 days later, there were some women going to the grave or to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body with some perfume. But guess what they found? Jesus' body wasn't there. Only his grave clothes were there. Wow, talk about a missing piece. Jesus' entire body was gone. What do you think happened? Suddenly, an angel appeared to the women and said, "Hey, why are you looking for Jesus here? He isn't here. He is risen from the dead." The women that went to find Jesus, they were so excited. They ran to tell the disciples the good news. Jesus wasn't missing. Jesus was alive. Jesus later appeared to the disciples and many others, showing that he was indeed alive. Because Jesus is alive, we celebrate Easter. We celebrate because Jesus conquered death and he conquered the grave, and he made it possible for us to have a new life in Him. Today, in your lesson, you're going to learn all about how you can make Jesus the centerpiece of your life.
Okay, boys and girls, I'm telling you what, we've learned a lot about the missing piece today. We've learned that everybody has a missing piece. See, but you got to know something about me. I love puzzles. I got a puzzle here I want to work on. I want to take this puzzle and I want to get this puzzle together. So, I'd let you help me, but it's kind of hard to help me from where you are. Let's see. That goes there. Yeah. I think that goes, like that. It didn't want to fit. Okay, here we go. I think that may go like that. Yeah. And then we've got there. Man, I'm getting excited because I'm getting close. I'm getting excited because I'm getting close. I'm about to have this puzzle done. I love doing puzzles. So here we go. Well, wait a minute. This is terrible. There's a missing piece right in the middle. Hang on. I'm looking. I gotta see if that's around here somewhere. No. This is terrible. Man, this is terrible. And I can't find that missing piece. But you know what? It kind of reminds me, kind of like our life. Let me tell you what I mean by that. See, I want you to know that every life has a missing piece. From the moment you were born, there's something inside of you. There's something down in you that just doesn't feel right in everybody's life. And that something that doesn't feel right in everybody's life causes them to do some things. And causes them to live a certain way. Okay, what really happens is people try a lot of different things to fill the emptiness that they can feel in their life. Some people do it with this. It's money. Money. They work a whole bunch. They work a whole lot of hours. They try to buy stuff for themselves. They try to fill their life with all kinds of things that money can buy them and money can give them. But a lot of people live their whole life trying to earn this, trying to get this, trying to fill that hole in their heart. But they find out that it just can't do that. They may become richer and richer, but this money will never fill that emptiness in their heart. There's a man named Howard Hughes. He was a gigantic, he was a billionaire back when billionaires were a lot. It still is, but he was like huge. And he had everything he could want. If he wanted to do it, he'd do it. He built a plane one time called the Spruce Goose, made out of wood. This thing was huge. It was probably 500 foot long and probably 300 foot wide. It was the biggest one built, and it only flew like once or twice. But he had done it, but he was miserable inside because money can't fill that hole in your heart. Some people try to fill it with accomplishments. Oh, they try to be the best in sports, or they try to be the best in all kinds of things, music, whatever, so they can earn these awards. They think by the time they get all these awards, the more awards they get, the better it'll be, and the more they'll be happy. And I can tell you that those awards can't ever fill the hole that's in their heart, the missing piece that's in their heart. Some people try to fill that hole with friends. And they'll do anything to get a friend. They'll do anything to amass friends and have people like them. And they'll compromise what they believe in. They won't do things the way that they know that they should, or maybe the way that Jesus tells them to. And they do that because they think if they can get enough friends, somehow that will make them happy. The problem is, many people have hundreds and hundreds or thousands of friends, but they go home at night all alone. They go home at night and that emptiness, that loneliness settles into their heart. So money can't fill it. Accomplishments can't fill it. Having enough friends can't fill it. The only thing that can fill that hole in your heart that you're looking for, there's only one thing. I want you to understand that Jesus is the missing piece in people's lives. You see, you were created by God. You were created by God to love Him. You were created by God to be His child. You were created by God so that you could have a relationship with Him. You could be friends with Him. You could be connected to Him. And when you're not, and you're not when you're born, you're not all through your life. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how many accomplishments you get. I don't care how many friends you have. If you don't have Jesus as your friend, then you know what? You haven't filled that emptiness in your heart. So I want to have you understand. It's not God who is stopping you from having that relationship. God's not standing there saying, you're missing a piece and I got it, but I'm not going to give it to you. No, that's not what's happening. God's not standing there going, oh yeah, that one needs it and that one doesn't. I'll give it to that one, but not that one. The Bible says that God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever, anybody who believes in Him, won't perish but have everlasting life. God didn't send His Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through Him might be saved. You know what? That's John 3:16 and 17. And it says that because God wants you to understand Jesus is the missing piece. And God sent Him for every single one of you. But the choice is up to you. The choice is, am I going to go for money? Am I going to go for accomplishments? Am I going to go for friends? Or am I going to go for Jesus? Those can't fill your heart. But Jesus does every time. So I want to pray with you today before we close. I want to pray with you and I want to say, Jesus, I want you to fill this hole in my heart. Maybe you've got a friend that's there with you and you've given your heart to Jesus, but they haven't. I want you to encourage them right now, saying, you know what? Jesus fills that hole in your heart. So would you pray after me? Jesus, I know that you came and you worked here on the earth and you ministered for 3 years from 30 to 33, and then you gave your life on the cross. And you died, and we're celebrating Easter today because you rose from the dead, and because you did that, you filled that empty place in our life. You did that because you loved us. So Jesus, tell Him this. I've got a hole, an empty place in my life, and I want you to fill it. Forgive me of my sins. I know that you died on the cross for my sins. I know that you rose from the dead on the third day. And you did that so that I could fill this empty place in my life. I'm asking you to fill it now. And I will do my best not to chase after money or accomplishments or friends, but I will chase after you and let you provide all the money I need, all the accomplishments you want me to have, and you'll give me friends that will help me serve you. friends for a lifetime. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen.